The Cipher Brief, because national security is everyone's business.
John Harmon. So we're going to go on our agenda here. We have him speaking to give us kind of a voice of how we are getting the industry perspective from his mindset. So John, let me give the floor to you.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things I kind of want to talk about here is really about data, right? I've been in cybersecurity for pretty much my entire adult life. And data really is the modern weapon that is used in both defensive and offensive cyber operations. Whether that be protecting data from ransomware attacks, offensively using data to to collect intelligence, collect data, or having data or telemetry to answer simple, what should have been a simple question a little over a year ago now, of like, has our SolarWinds infrastructure been breached, right? We over the last year saw that many organizations and agencies didn't have the data on hand to even answer a simple question of hey, this adversary was in our network well over a year ago, or being able to answer a question as to, are our employees being targeted if insider threat? These are all different kinds of things where I would just really say is data kind of is the modern weapon for cyber operations. And with the amount of data we all generate every single day, whether it be through social media, obviously with the Ukraine kind of conflict we've had here, I've seen a new kind of way of targeting data. I've been calling it kind of the TikTok war of even having 18-year-old woman being able to post on social media about how to drive a tank and all that kind of stuff. So it's really an interesting way of thinking about it, and I think it really has fundamentally changed how we should think about defensive cyber operations kind of in general.
John, I'm just wondering, have you been able to kind of listen in on the earlier sessions today as well?
Yes, sure did.
What are sort of top of mind issues for you based on what we've talked about so far this morning?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about ransomware. I really enjoyed kind of the the OT talks before too. Of in general, like kind of what I was talking about in my main kind of talking points is now we're considering all these different OT devices and all the different, even within my house, I have 2 Nest thermostats in my house, and who God knows how many devices my children are using every single day, right? And so it's there's this explosion of telemetry that we are all creating, whether that being used by advertisers against us, or foreign adversaries being use that data to target your own people for insider threat, or just in general, like I really said, and I don't like to pick on SolarWinds because literally this will happen again. It kind of happened again with Log4j when it happened earlier this year, but it's really about the sheer amount and volume of data and telemetry that we're all creating, and and as cyber defenders that we're having to make sense of, right? And somehow do this affordably, right? And you look at some of the latest EO directives that came out here last year. If you kind of followed them to the letter of the law of what they're being asked for, just to follow the logging requirements that are being put on agencies, would potentially be the entire IT budget of some agencies just to fulfill the requirements of, hey, are you compliant with this executive order, right? If you want to follow kind of the letter of the law, I mean, that's kind of like where we're at right now. And it's really not in defensive operations, it's become such a tool-based kind of way of thinking of like, oh, I have to have this tool, there's this new AV thing, or do we have our machine learning buzzword bingo involved, so that we have all the different kind of tools involved. But really we need to make sure that we're all thinking about this as a strategy. And I said that my kind of fundamental thinking is you have to think about it as, okay, the data is what we're protecting, it's what we're emitting, and it's what we need to be able to analyze all together. And if we can leverage that as our strategy, then that really puts us off in it puts us all in a better place as employees, as business owners, as government officials, and really just as taxpayers and Americans.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. John Harmon is with Elastic. I want to thank you so much. I'm going to follow up with you after this to ask what your tips are for a house with a lot of kids in it and their
that's good luck with that. It's called locking it down and knowing that Daddy was an intelligence officer, and I'm always watching. That's kind of my
I think we can all learn lessons from you, John. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.